Hello guys, it's Joyce from Joyce Scrappin 2, and today I'll be making a clean and simple card for Tupelo Designs LLC, and I'll be using my Copic markers today because Tupelo Designs LLC is now carrying Copic markers, so I'm super excited and I'll be using them a lot more. So they carry variety of colors and variety of sets, so go ahead and check that out. I'll be using this Bird Crazy stamp set by Stampers Anonymous. I think these birds are hilarious. Their faces are so funny. And I haven't had a chance to play with them yet, so I'll be using one of the birds. And I'm making a simple card because there's a couple things that I kind of wanted to go over, so I wanted to make it as simple as possible. So in order to keep track of your markers, there's a couple ways. This right here is a color chart that you can download for free on Copic website, and you can go ahead and put your markers there, the colors. This right here is a hex chart that is designed and created by Sandy Olog, and you can purchase this on her website for just a couple of dollars. And this hex chart was created so that we'll have an easier time picking and choosing the color combinations, and I think it's fantastic. It helps a lot. And the ink pad that you want to use is, of course, ink pad that will be compatible with alcohol markers. One is this Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and this is my favorite things hybrid licorice black ink. So you can use both of these inks with alcohol markers and they will not bleed. If you use like a solvent-based ink pad such as like StazOn and things, it will bleed. So you want to make sure that you have the right ink when you're using alcohol markers. So I have this card base. This is a neenah Desert Storm, and I'm going to prep my card base first. And I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit more about these Teflon bone folders. I've been using this for a little while, and I've mentioned this a couple of times already, but I have a lot of different bone folders by different manufacturers, and eventually these plastic bone folders, they get all scratched up and all gunked up and you have to replace it, and I think that's why I have so many bone folders. These Teflon bone folders are a little bit different. They're very sturdy and they have a good weight to it. And I think this is the bone folder that's going to last you forever. And when you crease it, it gives this really crisp score line. And when you burnish it, it burnishes it so clean and crisp. Something that I could never get with the other plastic bone folders. So I think this is definitely worth the investment because this is a little bit more pricier than the rest of the plastic bone folders, but I think it's really worth the money. And I think a lot of people will agree with that. So I'll be stamping this bird on this neenah Solar White cardstock. There's a lot of alcohol-friendly cardstocks out there in the market. My personal favorite is neenah Solar White, and that's what I'll be using today. And it really kind of makes the blending a lot easier when you're using these specialty cardstocks, and then you'll have less frustration in the blending part. So I chose out this sentiment right here. This is by Dilutions, and I think it fits perfectly well with this bird, and I think it's so funny. And I'm going to stamp it out since I have the ink pad out. And the sentiment says, as long as everything is exactly the way I want, I'm totally flexible. I think it's hilarious. And I think it goes perfectly with this bird and his face expression. So I already chose out some colors, but you do want to make sure that the ink is completely dry before you start coloring. Otherwise, the ink may bleed. So I kind of dried it a little bit. So for this bird, I'm actually coloring him in 3 different colors. I wanted him to be really colorful. Because this card is going to be really simple, I wanted this bird to really pop. So there's a lot of different ways you can color. A lot of people like to start from their lightest and then work their way up to the dark and then blend it all out with the lightest color. I personally go backwards. I do it the opposite. I start out with my darkest, and I tried both ways when I first started to color, and this is just the way I prefer. I have an easier time. So go ahead and play around and see what works best for you. There's a lot of great tutorials out there on coloring with these markers, and I'm not like a Copic expert or a color expert or anything like that. I just love to color, and so that's why I just share the way I color. So it's definitely not the way or the only way. There's a lot of different options that you have using these markers. So as you can see here, I kind of put like a yellow tone down for the bottom of his body, but for the top by his face area, I'm making it like a really light green, kind of like a lime green almost. But I'm using a bright green and this really light yellowish green. So in order to get a very even blend with these Copic markers, you want to have the dark, medium, and the light. But if you do not have that medium color that's going to blend these 2 colors together, you can do the tip-to-tip method. And I've talked about that many times while I'm coloring an image, and you'll see more of it in the future, and I'll explain a little bit more on how I use these markers. There's, like I said, there's tons of different ways you can use these, and each look will give you a different look to it, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and finish kind of blending out the markers here. So I kind of brought down that real light yellow green all the way down to the body, blending that dark yellow and the orange all together. And then for his beak, I'm using the orange here. It's a darker orange, and then I'll be blending it out with this yellow. So all the colors that I used actually for this bird will be listed on my blog if you want to find out the exact colors that I used. So for these markers, you can use 2 colors to blend. You can use 3 colors. You can even use 4 colors. It's up to you. And so go ahead and play around with them. They're really fantastic markers. So I chose out purple here, and I chose out a very deep purple, very dark here, as you can see, and then I'm blending it out with this lighter purple. And I like to go with my darkest first because I like to put down my shade area first. And I'll be talking more about that, the light source and things like that in the future videos. But as you can see, right where the wings meet the body, that's where it's going to be the darkest. So this right here is not like a Copic coloring tutorial. This is kind of like an introduction in a way. And I want to just share with you guys that Tupelo Designs LLC now is carrying Copic markers. So if you guys were interested, and go ahead and check out the links below. So that's why I wanted this card to be really simple. So now I'm creating a little bit of the ground for him to stand on, so it doesn't look like he's just floating there. And I'm using some warm grays for that. And I just colored his eyes with a really light blue. I believe it's like a B00. And then also coloring in this sentiment so that it also pops and it matches the bird. And the colors that I'm using on the sentiment is it's the same as the colors I used on the bird, so that it matches. And I'm only going to put this dark yellow at the edges of the sentiment, because I don't want to completely cover up the sentiments. I just want to highlight it. So as you can see, depending on the color choices that you make, you can create different looks. And you can create more texture if you want. You can create more depth and dimension. And I think that's the greatest thing about these Copic markers. And when you're first starting out, I think something like small critters and things are easy to color, because they're small, and like such as like lawn fawn critters, or my favorite things critters. Those little cute critters are a good way to start. So here I'm outlining the bird, and I'm using I believe I'm using W3, W1, and W00. So again, I am kind of outlining it with my darkest, and then I'm going over that with this W1, and then kind of bringing it out just slightly. And then I'm going to go over that with the W0, which is my lightest. And this will kind of create a little more depth, so the bird will kind of pop out more. So now that I'm almost done, I'm going to put that right on my Desert Storm cardstock. And I'm going to make this into just a flat card. So very clean and simple. And then I have this black jelly roll, and I'm highlighting some areas here and there with this black jelly roll pen. And then I'm going to add a little bit more texture to the ground as well with the same pen, just a little. And then later on, I actually use the white Signal gel pen as well. But here I'm just freehanding this line just to kind of frame the bird and the sentiment. And I really like the way it turned out. I'm finishing it up with the glossy accents on his eyes. And like I mentioned, I did use a white Uniball Signal gel pen to put some more highlights, and you can see those pictures on my blog. I thank you guys so much for stopping by, and go ahead and check out all the links below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much. Bye.